Hello, NUR 491, Week 3, Part 2. I am your Professor, Dr. Marion Johnson. Welcome back. Everybody has been doing a wonderful job. Thank you for all of your participation. It's greatly appreciated. Excellent. That's all I have to say. Great. Keep it up. Periodically, I do give extra point questions, but you guys are doing such a marvelous job. Really, nobody's needed anything, but it's here if you need it. So keep watching, stay tuned. We are going to start today's discussion with group decision making. The widespread use of participative management, quality improvement teams, and shared governance in the healthcare organizations requires every nurse manager to determine when group rather than individual decisions are desirable and how to use groups effectively. The number of studies have shown that professional people do not function well in micromanaged environment. As an alternative, group problem solving of substantial issues casts the manager in the role of the facilitator and consultant. Compared to individual decision making, groups can provide more input, often better decisions, and generate more commitment. One group decision making technique is brainstorming. Who doesn't love brainstorming, right? In brainstorming, group members meet together and generate many diverse ideas about the nature, cause, definition, or solution to a problem without consideration of their relative value. The focus team, whose work is shown in Figure 8.3, 8-3, used brainstorming. So take a look at Figure 8-3. With brainstorming, a premium is placed on generating lots of ideas as quickly as possible on coming up with unusual ideas. Most importantly, members do not critique ideas as they are proposed. Evaluation takes place after all the ideas have been generated. Members are encouraged to improve on each other's ideas. These sessions are enjoyable, but are often unsuccessful because members inevitably begin to critique ideas, and as a result, meetings shift to the ordinary interacting group format. Criticisms of this approach are the high cost factor, the time consumed, and the superficiality of many solutions. Problem solving. Problem solving when they perceive a gap between an existing state, what is going on, and a desired state, what should be going on. How one perceives the situation influences how the problem is identified or solved. Therefore, perceptions need to be clarified before problem solving can occur. Problem-solving methods. A variety of methods can be used to solve problems. People with little management experience tend to use the trial and error method, applying one solution after another until the problem is solved or appears to be improving. These managers often cite lack of experience and of time and resources to serve for alternative solutions. As the sample above shows, a trial and error process can be time-consuming and may even be detrimental. Although some learning can occur during the process, the nurse manager risks being perceived as a poor problem solver who has wasted time and money on ineffective solutions. Experimentation, another type of problem solving, is more rigorous than trial and error. Pilot projects or limited trials are examples of experimentation. Experimentation involves testing a theory, hypothesis, or hunch to enhance knowledge, understanding, or prediction. A project or study is carried out in either a controlled setting, for example, in a laboratory, or an uncontrolled setting, for example, in a natural setting such as an outpatient clinic. Data are collected and analyzed and results interpreted to determine whether the solution tried or has been effective. Lynn, a nurse manager on a pediatric floor, has received many complaints from mothers of children who think the nurses are short-tempered. Lynn has a hunch that 12-hour shifts, which have been recently implemented on her floor, are contributing to the problem. She believes that nurses who must interact frequently with families would perform better on 8-hour shifts. She can test her theory by setting up a small study comparing the two staffing patterns with patient satisfaction. Experimentation may be creative and effective or uninspired and ineffective, depending on how it is used. As a major method of problem solving, experimentation may be ineffective because of the amount of time and control involved. However, a well-designed experiment can be persuasive in situations in which an idea or activity, such as a new staffing system or care procedure, can be tried in one of two similar groups and results objectively compared. Still, other problem-solving techniques rely on past experience and intuition. Everyone has various and countless experiences. Individuals build a repertoire of these experiences and base future actions on what they have considered successful solutions in the past. If a particular course of action consistently resulted in positive outcomes, the person will try it again when similar circumstances occur. In some instances, an individual's past experience can determine how much risk he or she will take in present circumstances. The nature and frequency of the experience also contribute significantly to the effectiveness of the problem-solving method. How much the person has learned from these experiences, positive or negative, can affect the current viewpoint and can result in either subjective, narrow judgments or wise ones. This is especially true in human relations problems. Intuition relies on past experience and trial and error. The extent to which past experience is related to intuition is difficult to determine, but nurses' wisdom, sensitivity, and intuition are known to be valuable in solving problems. Some problems are self-solving. If permitted to run a natural course, they are solved by those personally involved. This is not to say that uniform laissez-faire management styles solves all problems. The nurse manager must ignore managerial responsibilities, but often difficult situations become more manageable when participants are given time, resources, and support to discover their own solutions. This typically happens, for example, when a newly graduated nurse joins a unit where most of the staff are associate degree RNs who resent the new nurse's level of education as well as the nurse's lack of experience. If the nurse manager intervenes, a problem that the staff might have, they might have worked out on their own, becomes an ongoing source of conflict. The important skill required here is knowing when to act and when not to act. So see Chapter 12 for a discussion on conflict. The problem-solving process. Many nursing problems require immediate action. Nurses don't have time for formalized processes of research and analysis specified for a scientific method. Therefore, learning an organized method for problem solving is invaluable. One practical method for problem solving is to follow the seven-step process, which is also outlined in box 8-3. Define the problem. The definition of a problem should be a descriptive statement of the state of affairs, not a judgment of or conclusion. If one begins the statement of a problem with a judgment, the solution may be equally judgmental, and critical descriptive elements could be overlooked. Suppose a nurse manager reluctantly implements a self-scheduling process and finds that each time the schedule is posted, evenings and some weekend shifts are not adequately covered. The manager might identify the problem as the immaturity of the staff and their inability to function under democratic leadership. The causes may be lack of interest in group decision making, minimal concern over providing adequate patient coverage, or perhaps, more correctly, a nurse's lack of understanding of the process. If the nurse manager defines the above problem as immaturity and reverts to making out the schedules without further fact-finding, a minor problem could develop into a major upheaval. Premature interpretation can alter one's ability to deal with the facts objectively. For example, are there other explanations for the apparent behavior that do not entail negative assumptions about the maturity of the staff? Accurate assessment of the scope of the problem also determines whether the manager needs to seek a lasting solution or just a stopgap measure. Is this just a situational problem requiring only intervention with a simple explanation, or is it more complex, involving the leadership style of the manager? The manager must define and classify problems in order to take action. To define a problem, ask, do I have the authority to do anything about this myself? Do I have all the information? The time? Who else has important information and can contribute? What benefits could be expected? A list of potential benefits provides the basis for comparison and choice of solutions. The list also serves as a means for evaluating the solution. 2. Gather information. Problem solving begins with collecting facts. This information gathering initiates a search for additional facts that provides clues to the scope and solution of the problem. This step encourages people to report facts accurately. Everyone involved can contribute. Although this may not always provide objective information, it reduces misinformation and always allows an opportunity to tell what he or she thinks is wrong with the situation. Experience is another source of information. One's own experience as well as the experience of other nurse managers and staff. The people involved usually have ideas about what would be done. Some data will be useless, some accurate, but some will be useful to develop innovative ideas worth pursuing. 3. Analyzing the information. Analyze the information only when all of it has been sorted into some orderly arrangements as follows. Categorize information in order of reliability. List information from most important to least important. Set information into a time sequence. What happened first, next? What came before what? And what were the concurrent circumstances? Examine information in terms of cause and effect. Is A causing B or vice versa? Classify information into categories. Human factors, such as personality, maturity, education, age, relationship among people, and problems outside the organization. Technical factors, such as nursing skills or the type of unit. Temporal factors, such as length of service, overtime, type of shift and double shifts, and policy factors, such as organizational procedures or rules applying to the problem, legal issues, or ethical concerns. Consider how long the situation has been going on, because no amounts of information is ever complete or comprehensive enough. Critical thinking skills discussed earlier help the manager examine the assumptions, evidence, and potential value conflicts. 4. Develop solutions. As an individual or a group analyzes information, numerous possible solutions will suggest themselves. Do not consider only simple solutions, because that may stifle creative thinking and cause overconcentration on detail. Developing alternative solutions makes it possible to combine the best parts of several solutions into a superior one. Also, alternatives are valuable in case of the first responder solutions prove impossible to implement. When exploring a variety of solutions, maintain an uncritical attitude toward the way the problem has been handled in the past. Some problems have had a long-standing history by the time they reach you, and attempts may have been made to resolve them over a period of time. We tried this before, it didn't work, is often said and may apply, or more likely, may not apply in a changed situation. Past experience may not always supply an answer, but it can aid the critical thinking process and help prepare for future problem solving. Make a decision. After reviewing the list of potential solutions, select the one that is most applicable, feasible, satisfactory, and has the fewest undesirable consequences. Some solutions have to be put into effect quickly. Matter of discipline or compromises in patient safety. For example, need immediate intervention? You must have legitimate authority to act in an emergency and know the penalties to be imposed for various infractions. If the problem is a technical one and its solution brings about a change in the method of doing work or using new equipment, expect resistance. Changes that threaten individuals, personal security, or statuses are especially difficult. In those cases, the change process must be initiated before solutions are implemented. If the solution involves change, the manager should fully involve those who will be affected by it. If possible, or at least inform them of the process. See Chapter 5 for discussion of the change process. So today, I am drinking from my big black cup, 100% Arabic coffee, Colombian coffee. Number 6, implement the decision. Implement the decision. Implement the decision after selecting the best course of action. If unforeseen new problems emerge after implementation, evaluate these impediments. Be careful, however, not to abandon a workable solution just because a few people object. A minority always will. If the previous steps in the problem-solving process have been followed, the solution has been carefully thought out, and potential problems have been addressed, implementation should move forward. Number 7, evaluate the solution. After the solution has been implemented, review the plan and compare the actual results and benefits to those of the idealized solution. People tend to fall back into old patterns of habit, only given lip service to change. Is the solution being implemented? If so, are the results better or worse than expected? If they are better, what changes have contributed to its success? How can we ensure that the solution continues to be used and to work? Such a periodic checkup gives you valuable insight and experience to use in other situations and keeps the problem-solving process on course. Group problem solving. Traditionally, managers solve most problems in isolation. This practice, however, is outdated. Both the complexity of problems and the staff's desire for meaningful involvement create the impetus for using group approaches to problem solving. Today, consensus-based problem solving inherent in shared governance is the norm. Advantages of group problem solving. Groups collectively possess greater knowledge and information than any single member and may access more strategies to solve a problem. Under the right circumstances and with appropriate leadership, groups can deal with more complex problems than a single individual, especially if there is no one right or wrong solution to the problem. Individuals tend to rely on a small number of familiar strategies. A group is more likely to try several approaches. Group members must have a greater variety of training and experiences and approach problems from more diverse points of view. Together, a group may generate more complete, accurate, and less biased information than one person. Groups may deal more effectively with problems that cross organizational boundaries or involve changes that require support from other units or departments. Participative problem solving has additional advantages. It increases the likelihood of acceptance and understanding of the decision, and it enhances cooperation in implementation. Disadvantages of group problem solving. Group problem solving also has disadvantages. It takes time and resources and may involve conflict. Group problem solving also can lead to the emergence of benign tyranny within the group. Members who are less informed or less confident may allow stronger members to control group discussion and problem solving. A disparity in participation may contribute to a power struggle between the manager and a few assertive group members. Also, managers may resist using groups to make decisions. They may fear that they may not agree with the decision the group makes, or that they will not be needed if all decisions are made by the group. Neither is the case. Some decisions are rightfully the manager's, for example, handling the budget. Other staff members' decisions, for example, peer review or self-scheduling, and some are shared group problem solving, also can be affected by groupthink. Groupthink is a negative phenomenon that occurs in highly cohesive groups that become isolated. Through prolonged close association, group members come to think alike and have similar prejudices and blind spots, such as stereotypical views of outsiders. They exhibit a strong tendency to seek concurrence, which interferes with critical thinking about important decisions. In addition, the leadership of such groups suppresses open, freewheeling discussion and controls what ideas will be discussed and how much dissent will be tolerated. Groupthink seriously impairs critical thinking and can result in erroneous and damaging decisions. Also, groups tend to make riskier decisions than individuals. Groups are more likely to support unusual or unpopular positions, for example, public demonstrations. Groups tend to be less conservative than individual decision makers and frequently display more courage and support for unusual or creative solutions to problems. Individuals who lack information about alternatives may make a safe choice, but after group discussion, they acquire additional information and become more comfortable with a less secure alternative. The group setting also allows for the diffusion of responsibility. If something goes wrong, others also others also can be assigned the blame or risk. In addition, leaders may be greater takers than individuals, and group members may attach a social value to a risk taking because they identify it with leadership. Stumbling blocks. The leader's personality traits, inexperience, lack of adaptability, and preconceived ideas may be obstacles to decision making and problem solving. Personality. The leader's personality can and often does affect how and why certain decisions are made. Managers are often selected because of their expert clinical, not managerial skills. Inexperienced in management, they may resort to a variety of various unproductive actions. On one hand, a nurse manager who is insecure may base decisions primarily on approval seeking. When a truly difficult situation arises, the manager, rather than face rejection from the staff, makes a decision that will placate people rather than one that will achieve the larger goals of the unit and organization. On the other hand, a nurse manager who demonstrates an authoritative type of personality might make unreasonable demands on the staff, fail to reward staff for long hours because he or she has a workaholic attitude, or give the staff little control over unit decisions. Similarly, an inexperienced manager may cause a unit to flounder because the manager is not inclined to act on new ideas or solutions to problems. Optimism, humor, and a positive approach are crucial to energizing staff and promoting creativity. Rigidity. Rigidity, an inflexible management style, is another obstacle to problem solving. It may result from ineffective trial and error solutions, fear of risk-taking, or inherent personality traits. Avoid ineffective trial and error problem solving by gathering sufficient information and determining a means for early correction of wrong or inadequate decisions. Also, to minimize risk in problem solving, understand alternative risks and expectations. The person who uses a rigid style in problem solving easily develops tunnel vision, the tendency to look at new things in old ways from established frames or reference. It then becomes difficult to see things from other perspective, and problem solving becomes a process whereby one person makes all the decisions with little information or data from other sources. In today's rapidly changing healthcare setting, rigidity can be a barrier to effective problem solving. Preconceived ideas. Effective leaders do not start out with preconceived idea that one proposed course of action is right and all others wrong. Nor do they assume that only one opinion can be voiced and others will be silent. They start out with a commitment to find out why others disagree. If the staff, other professionals, or patients see a different reality or even a different problem, leaders need to integrate this information into developing additional problem-solving alternatives. Innovation. Innovation is a strategy to bridge the gap between an existent state and a desired state. That's from Porter O'Grady and Malloch, 2010. Organized nursing has recognized the importance of innovation to solve healthcare's many problems. From Lackman, Glasgow, and Donnelly, 2009. The American Academy of Nurses campaign, Raise the Voice, highlights edge runners, those nurses who create innovative solutions for the healthcare system. See www.aannet.org. To stimulate innovation, several techniques include simulations, uses actors representing standardized patients or high-tech mannequins. Case studies, encourages participants to use critical thinking to analyze actual patient situations. Problem-based learning, incorporates additional information into the case study over time. Debate, helps participants examine an issue from more than one viewpoint. From Lackman, Glasgow, and Donnelly, 2009. One university has developed a postmaster's certificate program in innovation. Dreer, 2008. Using a case study module, Drexel University's College of Nursing offers an online program in innovation and entrepreneurship. See www.drexel.edu. Designed to foster creative thinking to solve internal and external problems. That's also from Lackman, Glasgow, and Donnelly, 2009. Critical thinking, creativity, and innovative thinking, along with appropriate tools and techniques, will enable nurses and their managers to make decisions and solve problems in the least time with the best outcomes. Most often, nursing occurs in a team environment. Work groups that share common objectives function in a harmonious, coordinated, purposeful manner as teams. The staff nurse is constantly involved in teamwork. The nurse aide, unit secretary team works together every day on a nursing unit. With shared governance, most often the norm and interprofessional teamwork common, the nurse may participate or lead a team in scale for one unit. For example, a team might lead the acute care practice council or be on a team to implement supplies at bedside. High-performance teams require expert leadership skills. In a healthcare delivery system integrated across settings, a team environment becomes increasingly essential. Nurse managers must skillfully orchestrate the activity and interactions of interprofessional teams as well as conventional nursing work groups. Understanding the nature of groups and how groups are transformed into teams is essential for the nurse to be effective. Groups and teams. A group is an aggregate of individuals who interact and mutually influence each other. Group members include individuals from a single work group, nurses on the unit, or individuals at a similar job level from more than one work group. For example, all professional staff, individuals from different job levels, individuals from different work groups and different job levels in the organization. For example, committee to review staff orientation classes. Groups may be permanent or temporary. Command groups, teams, and committees usually are permanent, whereas task groups and task forces are often temporary. Group and team processes. The schematic depicts the effects of organizational and individual background factors on a group leadership, including dynamics, tasks, activities, intervention, attitudes, and processes, forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. Elements of the required group system and processes influence each other and the emergent group system and social structure. The system determines the productivity of the group as well as members, quality of work life, such as job satisfaction, development, growth, and similarity in thinking. The framework distinguishes required factors that are imposed by external system from factors that emerge from the internal dynamics of the group. Norms. Norms are the informal rules of behaviors shared and enforced by group members. Norms emerge whenever humans interact. Groups develop norms that members believe must be adhered to for fruitful, stable group functioning. Roles. Norms apply to all group members, whereas roles are specific to positions in the group. A role is a set of expected behaviors that fit together into a unified whole and are characteristic of persons in a given context. Roles commonly seen in groups can be classified as either task roles or social emotional nurturing roles. Often individuals fill several roles. Individuals performing task roles attempt to keep the group focused on its goals. Nurturing roles include encourager, harmonizer, compromiser, gatekeeper, group observer, and follower. Task roles include initiator, information seeker, information giver, opinion seeker, opinion giver, elaborator, coordinator, orientator, evaluator critic, energizer, procedural technician. Building teams. Team building focuses on both task and relationship aspects of a group's functioning and is intended to increase efficiency and productivity. The group's work and problem-solving procedures, member-to-member relations, and leadership are analyzed, and exercises are prescribed to help members modify their patterns of interaction or processes of decision-making. Assessment. The most important initial activities in team building and data gathering and diagnosis. Questions must be asked about the group's context, organizational structure, climate, culture, mission, and goals. Characteristics of the group's work, including group members, roles, styles, procedures, job complexity, and the team. It is problem-solving style, interpersonal relationships, and relations with other groups. Team building activities. Team building activities originally designed to improve interpersonal workplace relationships have expanded to include meeting goals and accomplishing tasks. A recent study found that female students in medicine and nursing were more open-minded about cooperating with other health professions than male medical or nursing students. This is positive news for those involved in team building with women, less so with male participants. Training sessions for team building can be effective in helping participants acquire skills, but the results are short-lived if the skills are not reinforced on the job. To effectively maintain the team performance, learned behaviors should be measured and rewarded. Team strategies and tools to enhance performance and patient safety, Team Steps, is a program developed by the Department of Defense and the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, AHRQ, to integrate teamwork into practice. Team Steps involves 3 phases: assessing the need, training on site, and implementing and sustaining training. Managing teams. Managing teams differs from team building and depends on the task, group size, and composition, productivity, cohesiveness, the group's development and growth, and the extent of shared governance in the organization. Task. The size of the group can influence its effectiveness, depending on the type of task. Additive, disjunction, divisibility, or conjunctive, from Steiner 1972 and 1976. The more people who work on an additive task, group performance depends on the sum of the individual's performance. The more inputs are available to produce a favorable result. For example, the game tug of war involves the combined effort of the team. Productivity and cohesiveness. Productivity represents how well the work group or team uses the resources available to achieve its goals and produce its services. Cohesiveness is a degree to which the members are attracted to the group and how much they are willing to contribute. Cohesiveness is also related to homogeneity of interests, values, attitudes, and background factors. Strong group cohesiveness leads to a feeling of we as more important than I and ensures a higher degree of cooperation and interpersonal support among team members. Development and growth. Groups can also provide learning opportunities by increasing individual skills or ability. The group may facilitate socialization of new employees into the organization by showing them the ropes. The nurse manager must establish an atmosphere that encourages learning new skills and knowledge, creating a group-oriented learning environment by continuously encouraging group members to improve their technical and interpersonal skills and knowledge through training and development. Group cohesiveness and effectiveness improve as staff members take responsibility for teaching each other and jointly seeking new information or techniques. Shared governance. Shared decision-making is a hallmark of shared governance. That is, both managers and staff members participate in decision-makings, such participation can improve collaboration, staff retention, job satisfaction, productivity, and patient outcomes. Measuring the distribution of control, influence, power, and authority. Hess 2011 found that managers perceive staff to have more power in making decisions than staff perceived that they did. Workload issues offered opportunities for shared decision-making in another study, McAfee, Wardrop, and Campbell 2010. As a requirement for magnet certification, shared governance increases staff involvement in the organization's function and future planning and at the same time increases staff allegiance to the organization. The nurse manager as team member. Because staff nurses work in close proximity and frequently develop on each other to perform their work, and frequently depend on each other to perform their work, the nurse manager's leadership is vital. A positive climate is one in which there is mutual high regard, in which group members safely may discuss work-related concerns, critique and offer suggestions about clinical practice, and comfortably experiment with new behaviors. Maintaining a positive work group climate, and building a team is a complex and demanding leadership task. Communication. Communication is a central component of the nurse manager's leadership. The Joint Commission, the organization that accredits hospitals, found that poor interprofessional communication was the cause of nearly 70% of unexpected events causing deaths or serious injury. Joint Commission 2011. Effective nurse managers can facilitate communication in groups by maintaining an atmosphere in which group members feel free to discuss concerns, make decisions, critique ideas, and show respect and trust. An important leadership function related to communication is gatekeeping. That is, keeping communication channels open, focusing attention on critical issues, identifying and processing conflict, fostering self-esteem, checking for understanding, actively seeking the participation of all group members, and suggesting procedures for discussion group problems. The manager's communication style also affects group cohesiveness. If the manager maintains a high degree of information power and controls not only what information is perceived, but also who receives it, group performance may suffer. By interrupting, changing the subject, monopolizing the conversation, or ignoring the feedback, problems escalate and the leader remains uninformed, and both the individuals in the group and the group's ability to function suffer. If, on the other hand, the manager shares information freely, encourages a high degree of mutual communication, and participative problem solving, performance and job satisfaction improves. In participative groups, each individual has the opportunity and is encouraged to seek and share information and to communicate frequently with anyone and everyone in the group. Managers and staff alike check with each other to ensure that the information is clear to offer suggestions, and to provide feedback. Evaluating team performance. The manager may be accustomed to evaluating individual performance, but evaluating how well a team performs requires different assessments. Patient outcomes and team functioning are the criteria by which teams can be evaluated. Group functioning can be assessed by the level of work group cohesion, involvement in the group, and willingness to help each other. Leading committee and task force. Committees are generally permanent and deal with recurring problems. Membership on committees is usually determined by organizational position and role. Formal committee and part of the organization have authority as well as a specific role. Informal committees are primarily for discussion and have no delegated authority. Guidelines for conducting meetings. Although meetings are vital to conduct for organizational work, they should be held principally for problem solving, decision making, and enhancing working relationships. Other uses of meetings, such as socializing, giving or clarifying information, or soliciting suggestions, must be thoroughly justified. Meetings should be conducted efficiently and should result in relevant and meaningful outcomes. Meetings should not result in damaged interpersonal relations, frustration, or inconclusiveness. Preparation. The first key to a successful meeting is thorough preparation. Preparation includes clearly defining the purpose of the meeting. The leader should prepare an agenda, determine who should attend, make assignments, distribute relevant material, arrange the recording of minutes, and select an appropriate time and place for the meeting. Participation. In general, the meeting should include the fewest number of stakeholders who can actively and effectively participate in decision making, who have the skills and knowledge necessary to deal with the agenda, and who adequately can represent the interests of those who will be affected by the decisions made. Too few or too many participants may limit the effectiveness of a committee or task force. Place and time. Meetings should be held in places where interruptions can be controlled and at the time when there is a natural time limit to the meeting, such as late in the morning or afternoon, when lunch or dinner make natural time barriers. Meetings should be limited to 50 to 90 minutes. Expect when members are dealing with complex, detailed issues in one-time session. Meetings that exceed 90 minutes should be planned to include breaks at least every hour. Meetings should start and finish on time. Starting late positively reinforces latecomers, while penalizing those who arrive on time or early. Member behaviors. The behavior of each member may be positive, negative, or neutral in relation to the group's goals. Group members should be prepared for the meeting, ask for clarification, offer suggestions, encourage others, offer constructive criticisms as appropriate, help the discussions stay on track, and assist with implementation as agreed. Patient care conferences. Patient-related conferences are held to address the needs of individual patients or patient populations. The purpose of the conference determines the composition of the group. Patient-focused meetings are usually interprofessional and used for case management to discuss specific patient care problems. For example, an interprofessional team may form to discuss the failure of a rehabilitation regime to help a home care patient and develop new plans for intervention. The team member of a patient care conference often may not be a manager with line personality to supervise, evaluate, or hire employees. Frequently in patient rounds, the nurse is the person who can lead the conversation because the nurse has spent the most amount of time with the patient. The team leader is, however, a coach, team, and facilitator. Thus, the team leader needs to have excellent leadership skills. The task of the team leader varies according to the task and the skill level of the team members. Nurses may be members of teams as well as leaders. Understanding how groups and teams function or do not is essential to contribute to the organization, be successful in your position, and to garner satisfaction from your work. That concludes week three lecture, NUR 491. Thank you very much. I will see you in week 4.